Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Happy hump day. All downhill after today. All downhill. Been Dave the Bun household. Absolute scenes in Hornchurch. Anyway, if you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. This morning, Holly did a great show talking about looking at some of the stats and why we're losing points from a technical perspective rather than the fact is we're pretty crap at the moment. And then I had a bit of a rant. I reacted. I took some of your comments, and we do it occasionally, and that narrates directs what we talk about in terms of the comments. So we went through them, which was good fun. And now we've got Hammers Headlines with association with the KUMB.com buyers. Tonight, don't forget Jamie talks. You might have seen him on Talk Sport last week. Every bugger seems to be on Talk Sport at the moment. And he was talking about David Moyes, unsurprisingly. But he'll be back doing the wrap-up show tonight at 9 p.m. on the West Ham Network. Come on and have a chat if you think you are enough. But we've got three stories for Hammers Headline. The first, you'd have seen the title. It's an interesting one about Thomas Tuchel. Now, we've been led to believe that Thomas Tuchel was on, we've seen this shortlist, which I think is a load of bollocks, but we've seen this shortlist with Steve Cooper and Julian Lopetegui and Graham Potter. I think it's a bit of bollocks, to be honest. I think it's a bit of it's been put out there to go, it's not that good. It's not that good. Stick with, but I don't think it is as such. I'm sure there's a secret list. And it was conceived that Thomas Tuchel was someone they aspired to potentially get on board. Now, obviously, the announcement from and obviously he wasn't having a great time by Leverkusen, and they gave him sort of the dreaded sort of vote of confidence. I think it was on Monday, having lost 3 in a row, I think it was. And they announced today that they are parting ways at the end of the season. He's continuing to be the manager of Bayern Munich until the end of the season, and they part ways. What a clever idea! So everyone knows where they stand. That's a good idea. I wish some other clubs would do this. So at least we know what we've got coming down the line in the summer. But sadly not. But anyway, it could lay the foundations for maybe Thomas Tuchel wearing his baseball cap in the West Ham dugout next season. It might not be beyond the realms of possibility. We know that traditionally the Mr. Sullivan will not buy a manager out of their contract, and he'll be out of contract at the same time as David Moyes is out of his contract. So that's one plus. Secondly, he does have a friendship with Tim Steidten. In fact, they were very close. They were very close, particularly in his Chelsea days. Tim actually interviewed for the director of football, sporting director role at Chelsea, with a view to working alongside Tuchel at Chelsea. But obviously, Tuchel was then sacked, and then I don't know whether his application was withdrawn because of that. But that was one of his desires, was to work with Thomas. Maybe history can finally get those two together. Who knows? There is a slight fly in the ointment in terms of Barcelona. Xavi's not having a fantastic time over there, and it is sort of believed that he will depart in the summer. And apparently, Tuchel is high on the list for his replacement potentially. I just can't see it working at Barcelona for Tuchel. I think, there's someone like Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon might be a better bet. But regardless of that, we don't know where his loyalties lie, what he wants to do next, where he wants to go. But there could be a possibility. As I said, we've been linked with probably about a dozen managers so far, all the way from Thomas Tuchel to Jose Mourinho to Graham Potter to Steve Cooper to what's the bloke's name? Union Sanghalese guy. It's completely gone out of my mind. All the way to Will Still, the full gamut. But there isn't a job available at the moment. there still isn't a job available at the moment. So, but it could be another interesting name to add to the pot. Let me know. What do you think? If Thomas Tuchel turned up tomorrow, not tomorrow, say on the 1st of July, because that's tradition. That's probably when he'll be starting. It's not great. You'd want him to start probably it. You might have to try and get rid of his contract early and get Moyes out a month early, maybe. But because that's when both of the contracts will stop, is the 30th of June, I believe. Would you be happy? Would you be happy? Because obviously people have been saying, "Oh yeah, anyone but Moyes," and but what if Thomas Tuchel turned up? Would you be happy? I'm sure there'll be people who wouldn't be happy, but he hasn't had the great success at Bayern Munich, Chelsea, a little bit of success, PSG. Didn't really work out there. Maybe he's going to big clubs that are too big. Maybe West Ham could sue him. Don't know. One thing we do know in terms of apparently the new manager, this is according to ex-WHU employee. Hope you well, X. Good to see you, man, the other day. Is that according to him, he has been quite it's when he tends to, if he hasn't got information, he won't talk about it. But he said on his podcast, I can confirm that the club are looking at alternative options. Tim Steidten is the man heavily involved and leading the potential drive to replace David Moyes should he depart. There have been various names mentioned in the press. However, at this stage, it is very early, with the club still hoping David Moyes turns around the situation. The club, though, are, rightly so, planning ahead should the manager depart. What's interesting is a note about Tim Steidten leading the charge, so to speak. We've been led to believe that, we've had this sort of Steidten versus Moyes and Sullivan versus Steidten, and Danny Kudrinski doesn't like it. He's going to flex his muscles, but he can't because he hasn't got enough percentages to make any sense and forming an alliance, which sounds very much like an Avengers movie, a really low budget Avengers movie, Avengers Civil War, Hammer's Civil War. So we've got the hammer, haven't we? Thor's hammer, really. Ignore me. Might just going elsewhere. So we weren't, and it's clear if it, if David Moyes isn't offered a new contract, as I said, there could be it's yes or no, isn't it? It's 50-50 in that respect. And a new manager or a new coach comes in, the coach would probably determine whether Steidten picked it or Sullivan picked it. If Steve Cooper comes in the door, like in a Western movie, pushes the double doors open at London Stadium and walks in, I think we know who made that decision. If the doors wide open and it's a Thomas Tuchel, maybe Thomas Tuchel, or maybe this guy's I'm going to have to get his guy's name. Where is it? It's going to really annoy me now for the rest of the day. Or someone like a Ruben Amorim, or even someone like Michael Carrick, or someone who probably is already in contracted under another club because they'll have to be bought out. Alexander Blessing, that's it. Someone like him. That's not going to be a Sullivan appointment. That's going to be a Tim Steidten appointment, and then that would give you justification in terms of the football trajectory of the club going forward. But as according to X, it sounds like that Tim is involved. So we'll wait and see what happens there. And lastly, I thought I finished on a nice story, because we've had a load of crap recently, haven't we, West Ham, and everything in terms of managers and infighting and stuff like that. How about someone who actually wants to play for us, who would love to play for us one day? And that is this bloke, Jacob Knightbridge. Anyone who watches the under-21s knows this guy, in my opinion, is going to be a future England international goalkeeper. This guy is mustard. And this guy, I watch him play, and you see the influence of the likes of someone like Ederson or Alisson, where they play this sort of sweeper keeper. He is a sweeper keeper, and you'll see this new generation of goalkeepers come through, and Jacob is bloody good. He's got fantastic feet for a goalkeeper, can ping a ball onto a sixpence. I believe that's a term, onto someone's toe. That's probably better. And he's received fantastic plaudits for his under-21 exploits this season. He's 20. He has trained with the first team on a number of occasions this season. He's conceded 36 goals in 28 games for the under-18s. He kept 11 sheets in the process last year. This season, 15 outings in the under-21s, and he's let in 19 goals and kept four clean sheets. Very highly rated, and he's a West Ham boy. Do you know what I mean? The under-21s, they drew 1-1 with Spurs at the weekend, which was fantastic. Stopped Spurs' perfect run in the PL2 so far. It's happened again, Tottenham Hotspur. It's happened again. And he's been part of the travelling party. I think it was the Spurs game early this season. He went with the travelling party. But he has some really nice words for the West Ham website. And it shows, and it just shows what it means for some people to play for West Ham. And I hope more players would have, but he's obviously got it in his heart, bless him. He said, I think of a 12-year-old me at West Ham as well. We're pretty shocked to have been there. Sometimes you have to remember not to take it for granted. Take yourself out of the bubble, pardon the pun. And that's 2 or 3 years ago. You were shocked if you were there as part of the first team squad. Of course, it makes you want that more, because I want to play for West Ham one day. That's my main goal. I grew up in Brentwood, and West Ham is massive around there. And I mean, he's a big lad for 21-year-old. He's 20, good shot stopper, great on his feet. And you think now, obviously, maybe not next year, because next year, I mean, you've still got Fabianski around, you've still got Areola, Joseph Nang's been hanging around a bit for a while. Maybe it's time for Joseph to move out. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't know what his contract status is in terms of Joseph, but there's a real opportunity there to be third choice, and someone like Jacob would love this opportunity. And you never know. But I thought it was nice to end on someone actually wanting to play, and a nice story. Someone actually wanting to play for West Ham. Whether he will play for West Ham is another. It probably depends about who's going to be the manager next season, or the first team coach next season, honestly. But he's got a bright future. And I urge you to go down and check out the under-21s. I think they're playing on the next game is the Premier League International Cup, which is on Friday against Brighton Hove Albion at Rush Green, 7 o'clock. Get down there if you can. It's always a good show. And you get to see some great young talent. And as I said, we do the Academy show every Monday. So we talk about the likes of Jacob all the time. So I'm sure if you're watching that show, you know how much I think he's got it. He's got it. And hopefully he can continue having it at West Ham. And that's it, my friends. Thank you very, very much for your time as per usual. Don't forget to check out leesamybrand.com for the latest news, reviews, and opinions. And don't forget to check out tonight. Jamie talks all the way back from TalkSport. He's going to be back on the channel doing the wrap-up, talking about all things Moyes. Also going to talk about leaders and lack of leaders at West Ham at the moment, particularly in terms of the captainship. I think personally, I agree with him. That's a real area I think we desperately need some improvement on in the summer, in terms of that sort of captain, that sort of leadership. That sort of we do definitely miss that, particularly with obviously Declan Rice leaving and Craig Dawson as well. I think that played a massive part. And until next time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Come on, you bloody irons. Irons!